It's Jessica Jones, season 2.
Should we close the door?
Commentary. I'm yelling really loudly.
Why?
Because it's exciting to do these. Yay!
Yay! So hello. We watched Jessica Jones season 2.
Indeed.
We survived, which we weren't sure about.
Yeah.
After season 1.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
This was actually not nearly as bad as, I mean, by bad I mean horribly traumatic as season 1.
Oh, yeah. No. It wasn't traumatic at all.
They dialed it down.
I mean, maybe it would have been traumatic if we weren't anticipating season 1.
Yeah. But they dialed it down.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, partly, well, I don't know, I guess the subject matter could have...
Yeah.
I feel like it was intentional dialing down, not a factor of the different story.
Yeah.
Because this could have been much more violent than it was.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
There were no limbs in blenders.
Yeah.
Or heads getting ripped off of bodies.
Or people swimming with the fishies.
Yeah. There was a skull in a furnace.
That's tame.
Which was gross, but not actually traumatic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about it because I do feel like that's kind of a factor of the show. You know, we joke about it a lot, but
yeah,
you expect
you
expect horrible things.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I think that season 1 was better. I enjoyed season 1 more.
Yeah.
And I think a large part, we were talking about this earlier, I think for me at least, a large part is that they had a really compelling villain.
In season 1.
In season 1, yeah. And this season, I mean, there's not real villains. I mean, there's a lot of morally gray characters.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about season 1, is that in this kind of trend, particularly in the Netflix shows, of complicating the villains, we had Kilgrave, who was a bad dude, and he was always going to be a bad dude, and so he was there as kind of a rock to say, this is the bad guy who's causing all the stuff, and it made, as much as it made him a less multifaceted villain, he still was really effective in that he was just, he drove the season forward, and in this season, kind of by nature of the story being told, they kept introducing villains and then complicating them, which I generally really like. But it did lead to a season that was much less, much more kind of aimless and less focused, which caused the story to suffer a bit.
Yeah. And I mean, I think they did try to complicate Kilgrave. I mean, we got into his head a bit.
A bit, but relatively speaking, you know, you compare him to Fisk.
Yeah.
Or, Cottonmouth.
Yeah, I mean, he was
a bad guy.
He's about as uncomplicated as you can get. He's a narcissist with the worst powers imaginable. You know.
Oh yeah. And actually, while we're on the subject, we can talk a little bit about the episode where he shows up.
Oh yeah.
In this season, which was great.
Yeah, actually, that was probably my favorite episode.
Yeah.
I mean, Kilgrave always makes me, like, my skin crawl. However, I like him being used as a figment of her imagination, and a hallucination.
Yeah, he was, I mean, this is a weird thing to say about Kilgrave, but he was almost fun. Like, he was, with him not being a threat anymore, you can have him there as kind of flitting around vaguely humorously, but also kind of disturbingly.
Yeah.
It was it was kind of, I don't want to say nice to see him again, but I liked that having him in her head and then have her then work through that with him already dead and not an actual threat anymore.
Yeah, and I like that she's thinking about herself. Like, she's seeing herself as Kilgrave.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I think that's very interesting as well.
Yeah, I love how they introduce it right at the beginning of the episode where she's thinking how to deal with this body and Kilgrave's voice starts coming in. You know,
make it look like a suicide.
Yeah, I loved that intro into that episode, into that concept.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we were talking about the fact that we wish that had existed throughout the show because it would have made sense.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about him being a constant presence.
Oh, no.
I'm saying,
Like,
like,
just introduce it much earlier and have space it out more.
every few episodes, just have him, or maybe just, like, lead up to that, then have her visually hallucinate him.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and then, like, kind of amp it up as she's getting more and more morally.
Yeah, and have that episode be the climax.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, it would make perfect sense. She's still working through all the horrible stuff from season 1. Kilgrave is still very much a presence. So it's kind of weird that he's not more in her thoughts the rest of the show.
Yeah.
And we were also talking about the fact that, I mean, on that subject, they didn't even make an effort to cater to anybody who might not have watched season 1.
Yeah.
They just plunged you right in.
Which is weird.
I liked it.
No. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying, like, that the fact that they don't mention Kilgrave, and yet they assume.
Well, they do mention Kilgrave, but they don't, not enough to clarify it to someone who hadn't seen season 1.
Yeah.
Which I actually really like. And I mean, realistically, with these shows, I'm going to say probably 90% of the viewers will have watched the season 1 if you're watching season 2. I think that's probably just an assumption they made, and that seems fair to me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I thought, pacing-wise, we talked about the show kind of meandered a bit. I thought the first chunk of episodes were weak. Until Jessica's mom showed up, the show kind of meandered around.
And it wasn't horrible. It was just, like,
no, it wasn't
weaker.
bad. It was just definitely weaker. Because her mom showing up gave it direction, and suddenly I was compelled because I had not seen that coming, and I was shocked and pushed back into the story. Whereas before that, it was enjoyable, but it lacked that drive that made me really invested in what was going on.
Yeah.
With the exception of the Wizard.
Oh, the Wizard.
The Wizard.
So this is going to be half of our
commentary about the Wizard.
So we immediately looked him up.
I mean, you didn't. Wait, so you'd never heard of the Wizard?
I've never heard of.
Never heard of. Oh, bro.
Well, no.
Okay.
I read Superior Foes of Spider-Man, but
so
he was
you knew
Speed Demon.
Of a Wizard.
I forgot about the Wizard.
And I actually didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know that he was not. So Speed Demon. So Superior Foes of Spider-Man. Let's do a brief plug here.
There's a head in a toy car.
Superior Foes of Spider-Man, if you have not read it, is a comic that came out. It's been a few years now. Yeah. Rest in peace. It was a series written by Nick Spencer, illustrated by Steve Lieber, and I'm gonna blank on the colorist. I don't usually do that. I'm sorry. But it's brilliant. Spider-Man is not in it.
It is the funniest comic I've ever read.
Freaking hilarious, and it's brilliant, and it's really well written, really well illustrated. It's really funny, but also really compelling. Like, there are really good plot twists in it. It's just kind of this perfect little comic. So if you haven't read it, and we're mentioning it because one of the characters in the new Sinister Six, which is the main group in the series, there are 5 of them, is Speed Demon, who earlier had gone by Whizzer, and I'd always assumed he was the first one, but that shows how little I knew. He actually wasn't. The Whizzer was introduced in the 40s.
Yeah.
And he fought alongside the Invaders, which was the World War II era group of Marvel superheroes, the original Human Torch and
Bucky Barnes,
Captain America, Namor.
Very big A-listers.
Yeah, so Whizzer
especially for the time.
Whizzer was a big deal. And recently he's become kind of one of the really, goofy joke superheroes you mention, because he's a speedster in a yellow outfit called the Wizard.
His outfit's absolutely terrible.
It's horrendous.
It's like piss yellow. It's awful.
But the fact that they took this kind of epitome of the goofy superhero and stuck him in one of the 2, I'd say, this Jessica Jones and Punisher are the 2 darkest
Marvel
Netflix
properties.
Shows.
Marvel properties in general.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. A good point. Was amazing. I didn't see it coming, and it made me really happy.
Can we talk about the Wizard's origins?
Yeah, let's discuss the Wizard's origins a little bit. we're not Wizard experts,
No,
but
okay.
we did read the
Wikipedia.
Marvel Wiki article on him.
So, didn't he get bitten by a snake?
He got sick.
He got sick.
Yeah, they were in Cambodia and he got sick.
No, he was in Cameroon.
Cameroon, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Because I looked it up where mongooses
Mongooses
live.
Yeah.
And he got sick.
Mm-hmm.
And then his dad was also, like, getting, like, kind of a little unhinged. And he injected him with mongoose blood.
Yeah, because apparently there's a story in which mongoose blood has curative properties. So he tried it, and it worked.
And then he got really fast.
And it gave him super speed.
Yep.
And later, I think they retconned it to say that it interacted with, that he was a mutant, that it triggered the mutant gene. And so
Mongoose blood?
the mongoose blood didn't actually give him the super speed. It just, but I think that's a retcon. That sounds, because
that
mutants,
sounds like a
mutants
retcon.
weren't around when the character was created.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So
and then didn't they make him, like, dark and gritty?
Yeah, they made him dark and gritty later, because of course they did.
And he was like...
He had depression, and he had a
like,
bunch of heart
attacks. And then he thought at one point that Wanda and Pietro were his kids.
Yeah, but no, I love the fact that, so apparently he had depression, so he stopped being a superhero for a while. And then he came back and he started teaming up with the Avengers, and the strain kept giving him heart attacks, and the Avengers kept trying to make him stop. Please, we don't need you, Wizard. Just relax.
Yeah.
I just love that.
Yeah. And he tried to, like, legitimately get custody of Wanda Pietro.
Yeah.
Oh, my sweet
so
boy.
what we're saying is we want a Wizard ongoing show.
I mean, I'm just shocked at how big he was. Like that.
Oh, he was huge. He was a major dude. The Wizard, A-list here.
Beautiful.
But yeah. So anyway, I had heard of the Wizard, and
I had remembered Speed Demon. I didn't hear.
Yeah,
I forgot the Wizard.
But yeah, so we love Goofy early. I mean, our picture is Mike Murdock. And that should be fairly obvious. So the fact that they put Wizard in this, and they kept him goofy, which worked because you don't initially take him seriously. And I frankly would have been annoyed if they'd name-dropped Wizard and not actually given him powers.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we assumed, though.
Yeah, we just figured, they're making fun of the Wizard, that's fun. But he should have super speed. And then he did.
Yep. I love the way he ran with the tiny little steps. He just ran really badly, but really fast. And it was beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah, we spent the rest of the show missing him.
Also, the fact that he actually had a mongoose.
Yeah, he had a pet mongoose, and his pet mongoose was named Emil, which is the name of his father in the comics. So there you go.
Is his father a mongoose now?
His father is the mongoose. Alright, but anyway, yeah, so Wizard was a star character this season.
I loved him, and he's my son.
Yes. Yes. Do we want to move on to... Is there anything else you want to say about the pacing, or overall impressions?
I think I agree with you. I think it was, like, kind of up and then down and up, and it seemed, like, really slow at first.
It was really slow to start. Mm-hmm. So major themes this season. I like that they're keeping with the theme. The kind of overarching theme of Jessica Jones being control. And specifically this season, last season was about control, what's the word I'm looking for, imposed by outside forces. This season was more about self-control, which I liked. I loved that taking this theme and adding this new variation on it.
Yeah.
And also the theme of families, particularly mother-daughter relationships.
Yeah.
Which obviously was huge for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
And also the theme, particularly, not necessarily for all the characters, but obviously for Jessica and for her mom, of killing. And kind of the recurring refrain of, I'm not a killer, of Jessica trying to convince people and herself that this isn't something that should define her. And I loved that first scene of the season. That was probably one of my favorite scenes in the first few episodes, where the client tries to hire her to kill the guy. and her reaction to that.
Yeah.
I loved that. And because just kind of looking into the fallout, which I feel like there could have been more of.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think there couldn't have been too much, but the fallout of the fact that she did very publicly kill somebody, and it was all over the news. And so this is something she is now known for, kind of, and how this impacts her career as a vigilante superhero.
Yeah. I don't know if this is the right place to start this branch off of conversation, but I found it interesting.
We have no structure here.
Okay, all right, let's go for it. So I think it was interesting, like both the elements of the mother-daughter and the control theme in with Alyssa, because I have to wonder how much of her lack of control was real versus how much was she claiming she had lack of control, because a lot of her murders were premeditated.
Oh yeah.
Like, when you dissociate, you're totally out of it. Like, you're not.
Oh, can you define? Because I actually wasn't sure what that was.
So dissociated means like when, and I'm gonna try and say, but it basically means like if you are watching yourself do things and you kind of have that distance, like you're there, but you're not there, so you're not really
in control.
Not. I don't know if about in control, but I mean, I think a lack of control has something to do with it. But you, like, it's watching yourself. So, like, you're watching a video of yourself rather than being present in your own body and, kind of aware of the things around you.
Yeah.
Like, dissociated people, like, if you're really badly dissociated, you might, like, walk into traffic because you're not, like, in touch with what's happening.
Okay,
and you might, like, black out or stuff like that. So that's why I wonder if...
Yeah, so the fact that she was reacting to this situation going bad by saying, I'm going to go kill these people, is not something that you'd have the presence of mind for.
Yeah, I mean, if you, like, let's say, okay, if you had a flashback and you started hurting yourself and someone grabbed you to try to stop it, if you were having a flashback, you might instinctively, like, be afraid and start fighting them off, but it's not like, you prevented me from doing this, so I am going to hurt you. So, like, and a flashback is another form of dissociation. From what I understand, I really am not very well versed in flashbacks. I have worked with people with PTSD before, but flashbacks aren't something that I'm super well versed in. But yeah, I mean,
I feel like I would say for Alyssa, there's more to it than that. That she had those spur of the moment flashes of rage.
Oh yeah, I think that was
dissociation, but then also the aggression in general overall allowed her, caused her to premeditate. So it wasn't just suddenly she's angry all the time. It was, and she clearly did have this kind of lowered down, kind of less spur of the moment. Need to defend herself and Carl.
Like, I mean,
that went beyond the pure instinctual.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. I'm probably not explaining it super well.
And it's also, it may not, this is a comic book TV show, they're probably not getting real into the the accuracy of the the terms they're using.
I mean, they seem to kind of know what
they clearly make an effort, but also we have to allow for the fact that this isn't an actual thing, that actual people, I have superpowers and it made me angry, isn't a real.
Yeah, but I don't think the superpowers made her angry.
Well, it's suggested it's a side effect of.
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't you be angry if you were separated from your daughter?
Well, no, I know. I'm saying, but I'm just saying that it's.
Hooray! Yeah.
There's a certain level of fantasy to this.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, there is some realism, like the piano thing, like that.
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
Oh, I loved that scene.
Yeah, like that. I believe that could be a dissociation,
mm-hmm.
planning to kill Trish, but like, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, again, I'm not an expert in dissociation.
Yeah.
Like, maybe she could have checked out for a period of time and just like.
Yeah,
but it just doesn't to me. It doesn't seem.
Yeah, but I loved. She was one of my favorite characters. This season, and I loved that conflict. That even, again, we talked about the weaknesses of complicating the antagonists in this season, but I really enjoyed for her this question of, can she control this and get better, or is she a lost cause? Because obviously that's an important thing for Jessica, and we're teased again and again with what their relationship could be, and Jessica has to go through this horrible question of, am I actually going to get my mom back? Like, I love that episode where she keeps saying, this is how I get my mom. Of course, this, this being my life, this is how I have to get her back, is go through this. So I really liked that question of, is she a lost cause or not? How much faith should we actually put in her future?
Yeah.
Which I loved.
And I'm going through a Star Wars kick right now. I mean, my first thought was comparing it with Luke and Darth Vader, and again, how much is a lost cause? How much can I save? How much can this be turned around?
Yeah,
and like that relationship, you kind of see it some, but at the end,
yeah.
I think a big difference with this one though, is that there is no happy ending. Like,
no,
it's.
And I loved the fact that she was killed not at a point at which we said, okay, it's hopeless, but at a point at which probably a high point, a healthier point in her arc where she seemed like this might actually work.
And she was luring them in, but she was actively.
I mean, it was suggested that she was going to kill herself. That's the implication that I got from that scene.
Yeah, or she was. I mean, she lit up the Ferris wheel so they know she's there.
Yeah.
So she was hoping they would come in.
Yeah.
But I wonder also if she was wondering, like, okay, if they come.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously it's extremely painful because this is Jessica's mom, who she thought was dead, and going back to the theme of family, of her thinking of this person as at that point the only family she had left because her relationship with Trish was
on the
shaken up this season. So yeah, I loved her. I thought she saved the season, or made the season as good as it is.
We would have liked it anyway.
We would have,
honestly, we're not very high maintenance.
No, we love Jessica. We love these characters, and we love this show. And I think it was a really solid season, just not up to the high standard of possibly the first season.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved Alyssa, and this is something that we talked about leading up to the show, is the fact that they are veering far away from the comics.
Oh, yeah.
Because most of, Jessica was introduced in Alias in 2001, so she's relatively recent. We talk about Wizard, who was introduced in the 40s. Jessica is a very young character, in terms of the amount of material she has. And most of the material in her comics involves things that they can't bring into the show, like the Avengers, and she's involved in all these big Marvel events. She dates Scott Lang, and she's best friends with Carol Danvers, and she goes through all this stuff. She interacts with Hydra. She Yeah. So things they can't use, unfortunately. I would kill to get her and Carol together.
That'd be
but
fun.
It's not going to happen. So they had, part of it was that they just couldn't use a lot of the stuff. They could have made her, for a while in the comics, she is a consultant for The Pulse, which is the Daily Bugle's kind of superhero-themed spin-off, saying, hey, we actually don't hate, let's suggest that maybe we don't actually hate superheroes.
They do.
Jameson. And start this thing. And
they still hate superheroes.
Yeah. But, so that's something they could have done, but it would have felt weird at this point in Jessica's arc in the show, that she wouldn't have done that sort of thing. Though I would love to get a Pulse thing at some point, because it's a really cool idea. I love it. I love the concept. But yeah, so partly by necessity, they went off in this completely new direction. And it's always fun to get stuff from the comics in these shows. That's kind of part of what we're here for. But I also really loved not knowing what the heck would happen and seeing this completely new version of Jessica with a new story and kind of new material that they can play with. I liked that. I don't know how you...
I like.
Okay, good.
Good.
Good. Yay. So yeah, they completely messed with Jessica's origin story, and her family is very definitively dead in the comics.
Yeah.
So this is a
completely
new thing.
They're
super duper dead. As far as we know.
Dun, dun, dun.
No one stays dead except for Uncle Ben.
Yeah, I think they fall under...
And possibly Jessica's family.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wait, Uncle Ben's dead?
Spoiler alert. I know you haven't read any Spider-Man.
Oh my god.
You fake nerd.
I know.
But alright, yeah, so, in terms of more stuff about Jessica's arc, because I think we should let's stick on Jessica for the moment.
Okay.
Because there's a lot to talk about there. So we got more of her backstory, which is, again, new stuff. We got that whole thing with her ex-boyfriend.
Yep.
Who her mom killed, which is obviously completely new material. I liked I was interested in the revelation that she was in college and then dropped out. Because we know that she, her life has gotten significantly worse recently, but it never occurred to me that she might have actually been in college. And I like that. That's, and, the fact that she then just kind of dropped out and gave up, which also seems like a very Jessica thing. That she decided just wasn't worth it. And how did you feel about her ex-boyfriend?
I found the arc interesting. I mean, I obviously it was a bad dude, but I liked it. I liked her being an optimistic.
Yeah, well, I love that.
Like not teenager, but like
young
adult, and just trusting him and being enthusiastic about the relationship and enthusiastic about him and not nitpicking. Not nitpicking and background checking every aspect of his life, because I'm sure if she did.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had a hard time reading him, but I tend to be suspicious of every dude in the show.
Oh yeah. I mean, but she was also in sketchy things too. I mean, she was a thief as well.
Yeah, I liked that. But yeah, I thought I really liked that moment where her mom is spying on her and she's strolling down the street and she kicks open the fire hydrant for those kids. And
yeah, I like that moment.
That was a really nice illustration of that young happy Jessica.
Yeah, happier
Jessica.
She still had
yeah, not great.
And I really like the scene of her and Trish when they were younger as well.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that damn song got stuck in my head. I swear to you. But, damn it, Trish. Patsy.
And her very silly music video.
Yeah, I love. The kind of over the top but not really
over early 2000s style Britney Spears,
overly sexualized weird music video.
And the weird
the
weird song.
The weird song, but not actually. If I heard that on the radio, I wouldn't be I wouldn't find it strange.
Oh.
Would
Maybe
you?
listen to the wrong radio station.
Maybe I just listened to the wrong radio station.
Maybe you should start listening to some of my podcasts all the time.
No. But yeah, so it was really nice to see more of Jessica's backstory. And we didn't actually get a ton with her parents, which is surprising. But maybe if we gotten more with her parents, the surprise regarding her mom would have been less of a surprise.
Yeah.
But it was really nice to see more of her relationship with Trish, her early relationship with Trish, because we saw, so last season, we saw a lot of the positive moments in their relationship.
Yep.
And in this season, we saw a lot more of the cracks in their relationship, the fact that they were estranged for a while, and that, more of the conflict, which fit with the trajectory of their developing relationship this season, which was very complicated.
We didn't see Trish at her worst last season, but we've seen Trish go through hell this season, and her we knew that it was mentioned offhand that she had been to rehab before.
Yeah, and we actually saw that.
But we saw that and saw, what it did to her and the difference of who she was then and who she is now, and the lessons she learned from that and how she's still struggling with that.
Yeah, which I liked. And you mentioned partway through, there was that one scene, and I really liked that, the fact that Jessica and Trish kind of switched roles, and that Jessica was still going through hell this season, but she was more kind of in control, and as opposed to Trish, that we saw a lot of reversals.
Yeah,
and
I
was
think
Jessica,
especially with the calling.
Jessica knocking on Trish's door and calling her and not being able to reach her and trying to find out what happened to her. And
Trish isolates herself.
Yeah, that was a really interesting. I mean, Trish in general this season was fascinating. They did some stuff with her.
Yeah.
One thing I liked with Jessica, is one thing I just liked in general, and we can talk about Oscar more later, but I thought it was really interesting, that moment with Oscar where she, they're kissing and she just goes right for it, and he kind of goes, whoa, that's not normal.
Yeah.
I love that.
I did like
it's
that.
Not, this is, it becomes very clear how unnormal her dating, her idea of a date, that she doesn't know what she probably doesn't know what a date is, really.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a trauma thing as well.
Yeah, I thought that was really a really interesting highlighting of the fact that, because that kind of thing is so often normalized in media.
And that's not a stable
and
thing
kind of
to
saying
do.
that, no, that's weird. That's, there's something wrong with you there.
that's we need to have boundaries.
Yeah. I thought that was a really interesting thing to stick into the season, because there was so much of that,
Yeah. I mean, and clearly it was a coping mechanism for her.
For sure, yeah. And we can also look at Malcolm in that same direction.
Yep.
Which, again, we can get to Malcolm later also, but I liked the fact that for Malcolm we saw more of the fallout of his recovering from his addiction, because that was really glossed over last season, and we thought that was a weak part of last season, was that he was suddenly better, and it's okay.
He was sober,
whatever.
and that was how
that's fine. But yeah, so I like that they delved more into that this season,
and how he always has to have something to do. Because he's a recovering addict,
and the fact that he recognized that Trish was back off the wagon by saying, I've been through this, I know what this looks like.
Yeah,
I thought that was good.
Yeah.
And for a while, because earlier it seemed weird that he wasn't noticing that. So it was nice to see that
you don't know if she's high right now.
He actually did notice that, yeah. So I like that clarification later. Could have been earlier, but
yeah.
But yeah. So
back on Trish.
Well, yeah. Do we want to switch over? Is there anything else you want to say about Jessica?
I'm trying to think. Jessica. No.
I feel like it will come organically. I think there's a lot in her relationship with Trish and with her mom. I guess one other thing I want to talk about is Jessica's immediate rejection of her mom. When we had the long episode of flashbacks where her mom talks about how, her experience with IGH and the trauma she went through and who, why she does what she does and who she is. And at the end of the episode, she says something like, is that, do you, she asks for Jessica's acceptance and approval, and Jessica just kind of says, hell no.
No!
Which I thought was, again, another factor in the plot line of Jessica as a killer, where she's just rejecting the hell out of that. Nope, I cannot approve of you killing, because if I think that's okay, then who am I?
Do you know what I was referencing? Badly.
Were you referencing the Star Wars?
It was our Star Wars!
I'm sorry. I plowed right through that beautiful Darth Vader.
No,
quote.
That was Luke.
Luke, I'm sorry.
See, I'm trying to remember what he...
This is payback for you not knowing about the wizard. But yeah, anyway, so I that was really powerful. I thought that stuck out as a big moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, Trish, let's talk about Trish.
How about her and her mom?
Yeah, so that's the big contrast here. Is Jessica dealing with the bad stuff her mom has done as a serial killer with issues, and Trish negotiating her relationship with her mom as, an abusive jerk who we saw that last season as well. And that kind of, how strong, the idea of the bond that comes up a lot, kind of the bond between mothers and their children.
Especially when it's dysfunctional.
Yeah, and the idea of how much can you forgive your mother for. And the hypocritical nature of both Jessica and Trish in their discussions with each other about this, saying that they're forgiving stuff of their mothers that they would not put up with someone else's. And that contrast that, again and again throughout the season that came up. And so that was really interesting. And I did like the complication of Trish's relationship with her mother, that they actually, her mother is clearly still an abusive jerk, and that comes up, and we are reminded of it, but at the same time, the idea that maybe she actually does want to form a relationship with Trish, and maybe Trish does actually want that relationship, and we get some genuinely tender moments between them. The bit where Trish feels like she's dying and she wants her mom to hold her hand.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the thing with that is, in real life, abusers aren't Kilgrave. A lot of abusers aren't Kilgrave. Some are just jerks who are good at hiding it, and then once the mask is off, the mask is off. But a lot of abusers, who abuse their children, they may genuinely love their children.
Yeah.
But they are terrible, terrible, terrible parents.
Yeah.
And do terrible things.
Yeah.
Some don't.
Yeah.
But some also can turn the page and be like, no, I love you, I love you, I love you, and this is blah, blah, blah. And then the next day...
Yeah, it's more... Yeah, so you never know, and that's, with Trish's mom, you never know if it's real or not. And,
yeah.
There was that really interesting moment where Jessica can't find Trish, and she goes storming into Dorothy's apartment and threatens her, and Trish's mom says something like, I'm living in the present, you should try it sometime. The idea of that maybe she's trying to put that behind her and change and move forward. Maybe not. But maybe, she's so hard to trust, but that might be a thing that she could be doing.
Yeah.
So, I thought...
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting, the things they did with her, and particularly in relation, obviously, to Jessica and her mom.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I feel like her mom also is kind of an enabler.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. She's like, oh, let's just get you dressed up and help. Like, I mean, like.
Yeah. And that, the bit at the end where she goes on, we got Tembi Wallace. I love.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna talk about the recurring little side characters, but I love. She's one of the. I love that.
She's tiny.
But she shows up all over the place, and it's great. But where Trish's mom goes on the news, and she's, oh, I'm protecting your brand, Trish. We must protect your brand. That whole thing. So yeah, she's clearly still working the angles.
Yes. Yeah.
Which always makes her suspect.
Yeah. And again, people, like, it's not like there's good people and bad people.
No, exactly. And that's what
I mean, I would despise her, and I think she's a trash witch.
That's a good term. I like that term.
We're using it now. I just made it up. I just made it up.
Coin that phrase.
TM. Red ringside seats. Seeds.
What is the name of our blog again?
Our blog.
We should discuss changing the name again. We should have that discussion again. I think it needs to happen. It needs to happen.
No.
It's too much of a mouthful.
No.
It's like Trish.
No.
I like that line.
I'm too autistic to change it. Can't do it.
Okay. We can discuss this later.
Not in front of the people.
No. But yeah.
She's a trash witch.
She is a bona fide trash witch.
That's where she lives, in the trash.
In the trash. Yes. Which she has magic powers over because she is a witch.
She, like, controls it and puts it on other people.
Yes, there we go.
With her trash
She spreads
wand.
the trash. She grants trash. Let's see.
Trash witch.
Should we just straight up move on to Trish? We're already kind of talking about Trish.
Yeah, let's talk about Trish.
Talk about unless there's more stuff you want to say about her now.
I love trash. That's gonna be the song at the end of this commentary.
I think I Want Your Cray Cray is gonna be the song at the end of this commentary.
We have to go with a Sesame Street.
No. I need other people to have it stuck in their heads the way it's stuck in mine.
You suck.
But I'm tortured by the show. By Trish's dark past. But yeah, so let's talk about Trish. If I had to pick a major antagonist for this show, it would be Trish. And I should clarify that the base definition for antagonist is someone who works at cross purposes with the protagonist. So it's not necessarily a villain or a bad person, just someone whose behavior, for whatever reason, causes issues for the protagonist.
Nerd!
So I'd say it's Trish.
Yeah, I mean,
it was a lot of people, but Trish was a recurring problem for Jessica. Not intentionally, but through her own issues that she was working through.
Yeah.
Which is a really interesting choice. I'm worried that, other people's experiences are whatever, it doesn't affect me, but I hope this will not cause people to dislike Trish. Because I think she's a really cool character.
Oh, I like her too. I thought her writing was a bit wonky.
Yeah, there were some bits, it was hard to get into her head. And, I did think some of the writing was so-so.
Yeah.
But...
Like, I always compared her to Karen, who is such a nuanced character and who has so much, like, she's very, oh my god, I'm looking for the words. Her character is very put together and very solid, and they know what she's about and what she is willing, the risk she's willing to take, and she does do morally great things, and she is like reckless and gets into trouble like Trish does, but I think they pushed it a little too past where it was.
Yeah, her, her actions sometimes they were not set up well enough. I'm reminded a bit of the first episode of Iron Fist, which did kind of the same thing, not setting up well enough the extreme actions of the main character. But that was fixed by the rest of the season, whereas here,
I think
Trish,
it kept on digging that hole.
Yeah. But Trish's big thing, of course, here is power and control. Again, a main theme in the show in general. But taking her really wonderful, endearing, I want to be a hero and save people from season 1 to its darkest extreme.
Yeah, which was seemed really abrupt.
I mean, yeah, but I think it was the reason for all of all of the flashbacks, because we saw again and again how out of control she has been her entire life, and all of the darkness in her past, and her desire, kind of when she talks about her song with Jessica, she says, if this dumb pop song makes some people happy, then it's worth it. So the idea that she goes through all this dark stuff, but she still looks to be a force for good as a way to compensate and recover for that and feel good about her own self after all the horrible things she's been through. So I think I get it. I just think it could have been the extremes she went to. We needed to be deeper in her head to fully feel that.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm thinking about this. I didn't think about this while watching the show, but I'm thinking about this now. I'm wondering about her experience with Kilgrave and how much that could have pushed her.
Oh, that loss of power. Yeah, I do think that deeply affected her.
It wasn't really made clear. I mean, I don't think as a writer of a TV show you have to spell everything out for your audience.
No.
But at the same time,
yeah,
people recognize subtle hints.
Yeah, I think they could have been more clear about the element of loss of control in her flashbacks. About that being a really traumatic thing for her, because that's clearly what she's looking for. She wants people to look up to her not as this thing that her mom has crafted her into, that with which she has all these horrible associations, but as a force for good, that she has crafted herself and that no one can take away from her. I think that's part of the powers thing, is that if she had powers, no one would be able to make her do anything that she didn't want to do.
Yep.
And she could actually make a difference. Or she sits by, she talks about, she has an abusive mother and a superpowered sister. And that just emphasized her lack of control.
Yep.
And I think that's really interesting. Again, I think it wasn't executed as well as it could have been, but I am fascinated by that idea, that of just kind of looking into the darkness behind this, what initially seemed like an innocent desire to be a superhero. Would you say that Trish has an adrenaline addiction? Because I saw that, for sure. But
I think she has an addiction to power and being in control. I think she has an addiction to, I think that, there's a big thing with women that we're supposed to, hold it back and be...
Yeah.
Just be okay, well, whatever. Just being very, I'm looking for the word. I want to say censored, but,
in control and...
Yeah. I'm almost thinking,
dialed down.
Respectability politics, almost.
Yeah.
We're supposed to play respectability politics, and
yeah. And I definitely do think she is directly addressing, both as, in character and in the creation of her character. I definitely think she's addressing that.
Yeah, I think the difference between the drugs she took as a young adult and the drugs the IGH, is that the drugs she took as a young adult, she was out of control, now she's in control, so it's probably a more, when she was a young adult, she was out of control, but that was making being out of control okay.
Yeah.
But now as an adult, in her 30s, I don't know, an adult,
yeah.
unlike us, as an adult, the IGH gives her, not the IGH, I don't even know what the hell.
Inhaler thing.
Yeah, whatever.
The enhancement, the combat enhancer. The good stuff.
The good stuff.
The good stuff.
That good air. That good air.
Yeah.
That was probably more tempting to her because she was in control in a way of her body and of her mind, and maybe a way that she, like, obviously she was out of control.
Yeah, but it gave her power, where the other drugs took power away from her.
Yep. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you for saying that.
But I would also argue that she has a certain amount. I mean, she's a very aggressive person, which I love.
Yeah,
and
for
she,
sure.
You know, she runs into she wants to fight, even without the stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. And
which I can relate to.
And they're always pushing her for her radio show to be a lifestyle show.
Poor Maury. I told you it should have been a lifestyle.
So can we talk about how we love Maury?
Well, let's talk about the cool minor characters. At the let's say that.
Okay,
I feel like that's a long conversation. Me too. I do love Maury. He's great. But yeah.
Yeah, so, like, I mean, even that's very feminine and very, like, what was they trying to get her to do?
Oh, yeah, the hairstyles? Is it worth it?
Yeah, is it worth it to get a celebrity hairstylist?
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that. What she wants to do is she wants to be more like, I'm gonna always compare her.
Or like Karen, yeah.
Yeah, I'm always gonna compare her to Karen, because they are very similar characters.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so she wants to be more like that and more like a warrior and going up with the truth and justice and the American way. And
I really liked the marriage proposal mini arc.
Mm-hmm,
I really liked that because it addresses several things. And he even, it's a public proposal, which he even says kind of jokingly, yeah, I did this so you couldn't say no, but that's an actual thing. Which is really...
I hate public proposals.
Kind of abusive, yeah.
I think they're creepy, and I think they're not a healthy basis.
Yeah, so there's that, and the whole situation is a little bit... And she's clearly uncomfortable.
Family's there, and
all of his bro friends go, yeah.
Yeah, and they're all being like, oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, and then she's put in a position.
She looks.
And she's put in a position where she looks like crap if she says no.
Yeah.
I mean, which, to her credit, she does.
And then the fact she does say no. Yeah. And I liked the conversation. I was really interested in the conversation with her mom where she says, I want to be him. I don't want to be married to him. And that's not good for either of us. Mm-hmm. And I liked that, kind of directly addressing a major feminist theme. I like that. I never get tired of that.
Yeah.
I feel like could always be more of that in media.
And, I mean, as much as I had hoped he was Damon Hellstrom.
But you gotta have the actual Damon. You can't have a Damon Hellstrom equivalent. Just realistically, you can't. You gotta have him. Literally come from hell.
Okay, is the Batman Iron Fist where they fight the Krampus? Is that him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, he's not the Krampus. He fights he fights Krampus alongside them.
Okay.
He is not a Krampus.
Doesn't he kind of suck?
But he is still from and he and Patsy have a terrible, messy, bad relationship, and he's literally from hell.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that...
I would love to get Damon Hellstrom. I really enjoy him. He's a great character.
They're not going to have a literal character from hell,
I know they won't, but, it would be nice. They had the wizard. It's like the Mike Murdock reference in Daredevil. Anything is possible now.
They're going to say something... Okay, so next season they're going to say something like, he was a Hellboy.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Not Hellboy.
Boyfriend.
Not Hellboy.
They're going to have Hellboy. Cross universe. Just bring in Hellboy.
Yeah. I don't know anything about Hellboy. I know he likes
Hellboy
kittens.
Is super cool. He likes pancakes also. But yeah, again...
Anyways, off that topic.
I really didn't... I didn't trust her boyfriend either. What was his name?
Yeah.
British dude.
Griffin.
High achieving
Griffin
British
McElroy.
Dude. Griffin. Griffin, whatever it was.
His name wasn't
Something.
McElroy. That was a joke.
Oh, okay.
The real fans will understand.
I'm sorry,
my joke.
I missed that one. I'm missing all your references today. I'm sorry.
I missed my own reference, so that's okay.
But yeah, I didn't trust him either. And I okay with seeing him go, even though he genuinely made Trish happy. Which,
But you know what I liked, and this is what I was gonna say before I got sidetracked, is I liked that he was a genuinely nice guy, and that she didn't want to end up with him.
Yes, that's a really good point. That's great. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That didn't occur to me.
Yeah. I mean, he is a genuinely nice guy.
Yeah, he's not evil. He's not abusive.
He likes her.
Yeah, and it's still... Yeah. That occurred to me.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that! Yes!
I'm glad I could enlighten you.
That's a great thing they put into this show. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But yeah, so... Trish, I think we can talk about what the most painful scenes in the show, which was her audition for her dream job while she was on these drugs.
No, she was sober. She was
coming
withdrawals.
Withdrawing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I couldn't watch that.
I
couldn't watch. I plugged my ears.
That's pretty bad.
I
had my blanket over my face.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. But yeah, just another thing of Trish being the mess. I mean, Jessica's always a mess, but Trish being actually the bigger mess this season through her desperate attempts for power, for control, and for power actually over Jessica also is another element that comes in. Saying, I want to save you. That comes up again and again. That's why she shoots Elisa. I saved Jessica!
Shit.
Finally! Damn it! But yeah, just this need spiraling into this kind of delusional, over-the-top, horrible behavior.
Delusional!
Well, I mean, that's the wrong word. I'm sorry. This kind of...
How dare you!
Over-the-top, desperate.
Boom! I just punched her in the face for...
I'm sorry.
Incorrect.
I'm sorry. Incorrect psychological terminology. Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's unacceptable. We don't accept that in this house.
So yeah, I thought that was really interesting, that taking this desire that would seem to be a good thing, but taking it too far so that she sabotages herself, sabotages her relationship with Jessica. However, she does get powers.
She does?
She does get powers!
Which is really exciting.
So we're gonna get Hellcat one way or the other.
I mean, we knew it was gonna happen.
I know, yeah, but I wasn't expecting it to be this horrible...
She's going to hell. Get it?
But I hope that she becomes a cross-series character so that we don't have to wait for a possible season 3 to get
Defenders season 2?
That good Hellcat material.
Defenders season 2?
But that's not gonna be for a long time. I would hope it'd be sooner than that.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I mean, because come on.
I can't see Hellcat doesn't have Hellcat's material is weird though.
It's real. Oh, she's really weird. Her powers are weird. Her backstory is weird.
Well, okay, what we were looking at.
She's vaguely physically enhanced. She has psychic powers. She can summon her costume.
That's one of her powers.
She's one of those really weird.
Borderline,
normal, not quite, slightly superpowered, bizarre superheroes.
And again, I haven't read
a ton of Hellcat, no.
Yeah,
and I mean, we're assuming, and the implication from that final scene is that she's just going to get enhanced, dexterity and strength and stamina and, just slightly enhanced normal human stuff.
I think probably enhance intuition and reflexes.
Yeah, she might. Yeah.
But how about the shot she took at Alyssa?
I was really impressed by that. But we also had that really impressive moment where she shoots Simpson in the knee. So she may have just been practicing with that gun, which I could see. I could see her just taking a ton of time and getting really good at that, just as a normal.
Yeah.
But I mean, we could also argue that was a symptom of her improved aim, improved eyesight. Or whatever.
Yeah, because that was more than shooting. Simpson
that was really impressive.
like
that was
what,
some sharpshooting.
Like, Simpson
at a
was
distance.
what, like 10 feet away?
Yeah.
Which is okay.
Yeah, but this is, 100 feet straight up.
Yeah,
hanging,
exactly.
Not hitting Jessica.
Exactly.
Right in the head. Yeah,
exactly.
That's true. That was really a heck of a,
It was
the more we talk about it, I do think that was probably a superpower thing. that was impressive. But yeah, so I obviously they Daredevil season 2'd us.
Yeah.
They split up the main characters. They shattered the relationship between these really close best friends.
What would you expect out of Jessica Jones?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But I loved that final conversation. I mean, it hurt.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
but
yeah,
it was
sucks.
good writing, where Trish talks about why she did it, that, it had to be done, and Jessica says, well, but it didn't have to be you. Now all I see when I look at you is the person who killed my mom.
Mm-hmm.
So their relationship is gonna, I'm assuming they're going to rebuild, because we got all those flashbacks of their previous falling out, which was pretty bad, and the fact that they did rebuild, and that they will always be close. It's kind of a Matt and Foggy similar situation, that we assume they will rebuild and get over this, but that's going to be a heck of a thing for them to get over.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this was a really... Oh, I think the final thing we need to talk about with Trish is the scene with the director, the skeevy director, which was just, timely and cathartic and horrible, and yeah, I'm glad they had that in there. But yeah, so this was a heck of a season for Trish. Holy moly.
Yeah. I mean, what can we say about that scene with the director, like, besides what we just said?
Yeah, it was.
I mean, and...
I'm glad everyone got their hits in on him.
Oh, yeah.
Malcolm punched him. Jessica...
Punched his car.
Threatened him. Punched his car. She punched him in the Tesla. They saved the star of his new movie. They got her out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just a good thing. But this was a hell of a season for
Trish. Sorry, Trish.
Yeah.
It's funny because you said hell. You can't
Trish.
say heck cat.
Heck cat. Hecky decky cat. Fiddle faddle.
No, I say hecky decky. I don't say fiddle
You
faddle.
should say fiddle faddle.
I don't. I say the actual.
Yucky.
I say the actual bad word, which I'm not going to say on this commentary thing.
Wow. Oh, Jessica didn't say it either. Damn it. What the hell?
Let Jessica say the bad word that we all know, but I'm not going to say because this is a family podcast. This isn't a podcast.
Lots of families are listening to us right now.
Presumably.
Yeah, I would think so.
We
aim for that demographic.
Yes.
Let's move on to Malcolm. Oh, Malcolm.
I love him.
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
He went through some stuff also this season. We talked about the fact that they made up, or they tried to reconcile the fact that they did not address his recovery at all last season. And bring that in.
Yeah.
The fact that he's a recovering addict. We got to see his backstory a little bit with his college and his ex-girlfriend, and the fact that he dropped out, and the effect that had on him and his relationships beyond what we saw last season, which was really nice.
Yeah.
And we saw him progress from a state of what I would call, relatively speaking, naive optimism and innocence relative to all the other characters. With the exception of possibly Vito.
Yeah.
It was the extreme, but, Malcolm...
We'll talk about Vito later.
Yeah, we will talk about Vito. Let's talk about Vito. Later. But Malcolm, he's always really endearing. It was really cool that he was, to see him progress on renovating Alias investigations throughout the course of the season. It ended up looking really good.
Yeah.
I was impressed. And the door didn't get broken at all. I assumed that was a given. but it stayed intact the entire time.
That's the bet I
Wow.
won.
Yeah, you won that bet. Dang. But Malcolm, he's going through stuff, but he comes to work with a smile, and Jessica keeps firing him, and he keeps going, okay, see you tomorrow.
Yep.
And he I love that she will say something pithy, and he'll take notes because he's trying to learn to be a PI. And so he's a light character in this dark show. And we see through Jessica's absence and his own ambition. Actually, ambition is a theme for a bunch of characters this season. But his own desire to kind of pick up the slack and to make something of himself, because he too is trying to bring himself back to a state of control after everything he went through with Kilgrave and with drug addiction. That he starts stepping into these messier situations because he has to in his working on Jessica's cases.
And I like that even with Malcolm being a really positive guy and even he's been through some horrible shit.
Yeah.
But even so, I like that there's a point where he can't have any more with Jessica.
Oh, yeah. And he speaks up, which is, I really like that. The fact that he keeps positive for as long as he can, but he reaches a point where he just says, no, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I am suffering too. I'm doing my best. Yeah, I like that.
And I like that he fills his drug addiction. Well, I mean, not fill his drug addiction, but he also falls into another addiction, a sex addiction.
Yeah.
And I like that it's not. It doesn't go the narrative just kind of touches on it.
Yeah, it's definitely there, but it's not a big deal. It's not made out of it. It's just this is obviously happening.
In the background.
Be aware. Yeah. And that Jessica isn't really looking closely at it either.
But
which
Trish
maybe
is.
she should be. But yeah, Trish is. Jessica triangulates his position. That was kind of funny.
Triangulates his
from the dating app.
From the dating app and where he's been,
so Malcolm, I really liked that, balancing him as this kind of positive character with the fact that, however, he's just better at hiding the fact that he is suffering through stuff. And I am really interested. I was really interested in his arc, again, moving kind of into darker areas where we see him step further over these lines that you wouldn't expect him to cross. I loved him meeting Benowitz at the bar and saying, I could do this, but I'm going to do this. And the other thing he does isn't immediately as horrible, but it's still pretty nasty. Where he blames it on he creates that discord with Linda Chow. I really like that. That was really clever. But also this look at Malcolm becoming this more kind of hardened guy who's more willing to do questionable stuff because it's required of him. Yeah, but he decides where to draw the line, and I think that's very important. That it's up to him. Oh yeah, because he, he's. I don't think he'd ever allow himself to be. Well, that's the question. Pushed into. Well, that's the question because he does get. He does go further and further as the season progresses, I would say. And then he goes with Price, who I don't think is... Yeah, Price was interesting. I don't know if he was too questionable. I mean, he did try to murder... Yeah, I mean, Price is... But I'm not sure how... Yeah. Antagonistic I'm supposed to... Yeah, Price was interesting because he was like Trish's boyfriend, where he's not... He seems like a genuinely good dude, but... he's, he's an antagonist in that he's working against Jessica, and he does end up doing questionable stuff. Yeah. So he was interesting. I liked that he wasn't outright a bad guy. Because that would have made him much less interesting. Yeah. I just kind of wonder what the point. Yeah, he was a little bit
pointless.
a little bit. Yeah, he was definitely a plot device in many situations.
Yeah.
Like I did like that scene where he baits and antagonizes Jessica, and then until she beats him up, and then he calls her weak. I did like that scene, but yeah, he was a little bit. She just kidnaps him and keeps him drugged up in her bathtub.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't die.
Yeah, okay. He'll probably be fine. But yeah, so with Malcolm, taking control of his life is really cool, but he loses some of his innocence from it, and I think he has been set up as a cross-series character. Wink, yeah. Because now that he's doing his own thing with Price, he could show up anywhere.
And he's doing that under the supervision of Jaren.
Our friend Jaren, who will also definitely be showing up in other places.
And she's hiring people.
Indeed she is.
Maybe some heroes.
On her own, yes.
Wink.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Jaren since we got there.
Oh yeah, we're going
naturally.
to. Yeah. But yeah, I do hope we see Malcolm in other things.
Oh yeah, I really enjoy
set
Malcolm.
up for it, and he's cool.
And I really like his actor, and I think he is.
Yeah, he's a character who threatens to be too kind of simple and nice, but I liked what they did with him. Yeah. I'm excited to see where he goes. Yeah.
Don't be Claire, please.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I liked Claire for like the Daredevil season 1 and Jessica Jones season 1.
Yeah.
And Luke Cage was okay.
Yeah, I think we're just a little bit. Yeah, Claire they need to do something new with Claire. We were completely okay with her not being. We were shocked. We were completely okay with her not being in this season, which is interesting that they're moving away from her being a regular character. I mean, I'm okay with it.
Oh, I'm fine.
Because we have a lot of cool other cross-series characters now that I find more interesting. All right, but yeah, let's please talk about Jaren.
All right, so
I love with all my heart.
She probably doesn't love you back.
Went through the poop this season. No, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So Jaren. Poor Jaren.
If Danny doesn't heal her within the first 10 minutes of Iron Fist, I'm calling, he better.
What is that?
Danny just pops into her office. I heard you needed some healing. Get over here. It better.
Punch?
He better. A gentle healing punch.
She'll just be unconscious
there you
for
go.
like 5 hours.
Dealt with. Yeah, that.
He's not a good enough healer yet.
He can be.
Morrison Orson?
I think Danny can do it. He healed cancer pre-Immortal Iron Fist power-up. If the situation requires it, and if he does, I think he will be continually increasing in power as time goes on. I think he could at least. I think he could do it, particularly if it's at an early stage, which clearly it is.
Yeah.
Do not dash my dreams, friend. It needs to happen. And clearly,
I like the passive-aggressive friend there.
Friend. Buddy.
My dear friend,
but clearly,
you better.
But, I mean, the fact that they can't, they did set up for this being a problem that medicine cannot handle, and she's an Iron Fist character. I mean, come on.
What plot relevance would that have? How would that drive the plot forward?
Bonding. It would save Jaren from dying.
She would owe him
a horrible death, and she would owe him.
With something that money can't pay for.
Yeah.
Good point.
It would be
a good point.
A good moment.
Wink.
Wonk.
Oh, that made me really happy.
But yeah, so Jaren. Poor Jaren. I was expecting a redemption arc. And she didn't really get
exactly.
one, which I am actually completely cool with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes her interesting.
Like her moral grayness is an integral part of her character, and she's never going to become too nice. Even though, I mean,
She's
she
not.
makes steps toward it this season, but she's still willing to step over all those boundaries to make, to serve herself when she needs to.
Yeah. I think, I mean, it's really interesting seeing her, like, go, like, very positive.
Yeah.
And then back
And
right down.
It's freaking heartbreaking. She was, her arc got me. So she very clearly lays out the themes of her arc when she's talking to Jessica, which I don't mind, where she talks about, I've fought all my life for control. I've built myself up. I'm a person in power, and now control of my, the basic thing, which is control of my own body, is being removed from me. And there's nothing I can do about it.
Quite literally. If you don't know, it's become more well known in recent years because of the Ice Bucket Challenge. But ALS is a really devastating illness. It basically means you lose your ability for your brain to communicate with the nerves, not neurons, the nerves in each part of your body. So you lose, like, control of the ability to walk, to use your hands, and then slowly it becomes your lungs, your heart, your ability to breathe by yourself. My grandmother died of it, and currently there is no cure, as they mentioned in the show. So if you guys ever want to donate to an ALS or something researching ALS or ALS research, more awareness and funds are always appreciated. But yeah, I mean, it really is the epitome of losing control of everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So kind of if you want to look at kind of the arc that epitomizes this season, it's going to be Jaren's. Because she just loses everything.
Yep.
And, the ultimate loss of self-control.
Yep.
And which automatically, I mean, this does several things. So, it's really horrifying. And she talks about she mentions to Jessica, I like the way she puts it, that, my future is a nightmare. I like the way she puts that. Is one thing it does, it immediately creates sympathy for a character who has been set up to be not entirely sympathetic. I mean, she was far more sympathetic in Iron Fist, which I liked, and that kind of worked alongside her different relationship with Danny.
Yeah, I did like that she had a different portrayal with other people, because isn't that, like...
That's her thing.
Well, no, but that's just people in general.
Oh, well, yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I mean,
the relationship is very different with Danny than it is with Jessica.
Mm-hmm. Like, I'll act differently with different friends, not because I'm trying to, like, fit in, but because they might play off a different part of my personality.
Yeah, that's how people work.
Yeah, that's how you, like, just bounce off of each other.
Yeah. But for, Jessica Jones viewers, this helped to immediately create some sympathy for her. I mean, she's still... very much a not great person, which they also make clear in that first scene where she's talking about Pam with her associates. Saying all these horrible things about her ex-girlfriend who was in jail for murder that was partly her fault. It also immediately makes her someone who is, okay, she may be a not great, a terrible person, but this is still something that with which the viewer should sympathize. It's it's a bad situation all around.
Yeah.
And then she, I was interested in her arc as a victim throughout the entirety of this season.
Yeah. I'm going to go back a bit, and I think it's interesting because there is a point where before she finds out about Shane, where she's genuinely opening up to Inez, being like, I mean, part of it is like, she's like...
Yeah, but we get her backstory.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's another thing, helping us to understand her and her understand why. And this is something that was kind of implied in season 1 that I got from her, just that the reason she is so kind of cold and power driven and aggressive is the fact that she is a high-powered woman in a male-dominated field, and she's had to fight for everything she has, and that if she shows an inch of weakness, she's gonna, someone's gonna come after her. So, and we do get more confirmation of that she says, I built everything I have.
She grew up in a trailer.
Yeah. Which also ties into her losing. I mean, she's not hugely upset about losing her stuff, but there's something symbolic about the fact that she created all this stuff and then it is taken away from her.
Well, I mean, she is really upset about losing all her stuff.
But I think her upsetness is not centered around the stuff.
It's about
the fact
the
that she
betrayal.
was robbed. Yeah. Yeah, it's the fact that she trusted somebody, which she doesn't generally do, and they screwed her over. Mm-hmm. In a vulnerable situation.
Yeah. And then she's like, well,
she takes
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she screws them over.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Dang.
Yeah.
Dang.
Brutal.
Yeah. But yeah, her arc was very quiet in relation to the other characters, but I really liked it because it was so personal.
Yeah.
And it was it was messy, of course, because it's Jaren. And full of moral complexity, but we see her at her lowest, where she's just trying to find something to bring her some kind of hope in this horrible situation. Yes, kind of this basic quest for some kind of happiness.
Yeah.
There was that little bit that we were wondering, it's that where the heck do you find a prostitute in broad daylight in Manhattan anymore?
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's places.
There are some sketchy spots still,
but
in New York City. But that seemed a little bit anachronistic. But
in broad daylight,
yeah.
I mean, listen, I don't live in New York City. I wouldn't be able to know.
I was surprised by that.
But
yeah,
I'm sure you don't go around in areas where
I go around where they film.
Oh, that isn't that. Listen, that isn't that.
No,
bad.
I know. I'm joking. But yeah, yes, I love Jaren. I liked this arc, and I did note the fact that even after we find out she wasn't actually healed, she didn't seem to be suffering as much from she said she hadn't had a symptom. I don't know. It seemed like
she hadn't had a symptom.
It seemed like
she
she was still acting as though she had physically we didn't notice that she was still suffering from it.
Yeah.
Which stood out to me a little bit, but that didn't bother me too much.
Yeah, ALS is a slow progressing movement, though.
Yeah.
They said she had 8 years.
Yeah, that's true.
Which
I'm
not sure how long it took, but I think it's
Well, she said it was up to 8 years, so it could be.
Yeah, I think
2 years.
Honestly, I think it's I mean, and this isn't book knowledge. This is just from my own experience. I would say 3 to 5.
Okay.
So that's probably pretty optimistic. And again, I don't quote me. This is not book knowledge. This is guesstimating.
Yeah, but it's still still good to know. Yeah, it still puts it in perspective.
Yeah.
But yeah. So let's see. Anything else to say about Jaren? Of course. Yes, so at the end, she starts up her own law firm, presumably taking Foggy and Marcy with her, I would assume. And yeah, she is now free to do her own stuff as a lawyer and put her money behind whoever she wants. Make her own decisions. And she also takes her kung fu dude and leaves. She takes Rand with her. I'm taking Rand.
I'm taking this kung fu.
I love that.
Goodbye.
Goodbye to half your profits.
Yep.
I love that.
I love this kung fu. He is my kung fu.
Yes, I'm taking him.
Have you seen my kung fu?
There was something else.
We wanted to talk about Foggy.
Yes, let's talk about Foggy. Well, let's mention before I forget. She's buddies with Turk, and she's the one who keeps getting Turk out of prison.
Oh, we loved it.
I want Matt would be so pissed.
That would be so pissed.
She needs to interact with Matt. I'm really frustrated we haven't had a Matt Jaren
Showdown
yet.
Smackdown.
Come on.
Just hair pulling.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking hair
brawl.
pulling, like eye scratching.
Yeah. Go at it.
Yeah. That's exactly what would happen if they were in court together.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing. Oh my god.
I wonder if...
I want that.
Okay, so do you think in an actual court of law there have been two lawyers who have gotten into a fist fight in the middle of court?
Yes.
I really want to be there.
In Marvel Universe, double yes. I can confirm.
Marvel Universe
But I guess
is
the Marvel Universe...
quadruple yes.
Yes.
But...
Multiple times just via Matt.
Yes.
Matt is responsible for at least half, Jen Walters the other half.
But I just want to know the circumstances behind any real life lawyer fights in court.
Yeah. Look that up on YouTube. Lawyer fights.
I am gonna look it up on YouTube. Are you kidding me? 1 minute. Let me look it up right now with my new phone since my phone died.
Fancy.
My car.
No one stays dead except for Uncle Ben.
No, my phone's pretty dead.
And your phone.
Okay, lawyer fight. Lawyer owns cop.
Ooh, but is this a physical owning or a verbal
Lawyer
owning?
fights judge! Lawyer fight in court! Lawyer fight in court!
Lawyer fight. Lawyer fight.
Judge fights lawyer? Lawyer fights lawyer outside of classroom. Okay, here we go.
Outside of classroom? Why were they in
No, ad.
Judge John Murphy in Florida got into a verbal and physical fight with a public defender in the area by the name of Andrew Weinstock. Apparently the judge had asked Weinstock to have his client waive the right to a quick and speedy trial, and the defender refused to do so. As a result, this is what happened.
You're Mr. Runkles.
Yes, sir.
Two charges, assault,
Mr.
and
Rumples.
resisting.
Rumples.
You have the public
Are we
defender.
including
Public
this
defender, what do you want to do?
in the commentary?
They have.
I'm not waiting.
All right. What do you want to do?
Go outside and
What do you
kill them
want?
just like men.
I'm not waiting. You want to set up for trial? Set up for trial.
All right.
If you want to set for docket timing, set for docket timing. I'm not waiting in any case. This is an
You know,
emergency
if I
created by
had a
the
rock,
state.
I would throw it at you right now.
You know, this is
Stop pissing me off. Just sit down. I'll take care of it. I don't need your help.
No, I'm the public defender. I have a right to be here, and I have a right to
I
stand
said
and represent
sit
my
down.
clients.
If you want to fight, let's go out back and I'll just go out.
Shit just got real,
That happened. That's amazing.
Oh my god! Okay.
Alright, so that's actual footage of Matt Murdock and Jaren Hogarth going at it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh my god.
Alright, anyway, let's talk about
That
Foggy.
was amazing. Okay.
Let's talk about Foggy.
I love Foggy.
Foggy was in this after hoping for Foggy to be in Jaren related things more. He was in it.
Yeah, and I love that he was in one scene.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That was the Foggy moment.
And like not
I could have gone for 2 scenes, but 1 scene, yeah, I didn't want him in it too much.
but like I love Foggy in Daredevil, more Foggy. Like yes. But in Jessica Jones, it
Yeah,
makes
he would have
sense.
felt a little out of place. But yeah, 1 scene, a good sprinkling of Foggy.
Yeah.
And what we love about that scene, not only that Foggy was in it, but that it's such a Foggy scene because he comes in and he's
Ready
offering
to
moral
go.
support to Jaren. And Jaren goes, "We're not friends."
And Foggy,
Foggy goes, "Wait, what?
yeah.
Isn't that how this works?
Yep.
Aren't you automatically my friend because you're my law partner?"
Yep. He's not a partner though. He's a
He's not-
lackey.
yeah. But I just love that he's so clearly used to Matt and he's not used to this dynamic.
Corporate, yeah.
And I just love that.
Yeah,
That's
it was
so
pretty
much.
great.
So,
It was really good.
it was really good. So yeah, yay Foggy!
Yay!
Yay Foggy! Foggy is another cross series character. Hell yeah! All right, so are we? Let's talk. Let's see, Jessica. Do we want to? Have we said everything we need to say about? I feel like we have more to say about Alyssa.
I don't know.
think I'm interested in her relationship with Carl Malice, which, if you couldn't tell from the name, is a character from the comics. It's a villain from the comics. Because his name is Carl Malice.
What is his name? His name is like something weirder though. It's like
No, that's his actual name. It's Carl Malice. I think they pronounce it Mollis in the show to make it less obviously a comic book name. But she's a Spider-Man villain.
isn't he Spider-Woman? Did you say
Spider-Woman? Yeah, Spider-Woman. I'm pretty sure he's Carnage. Let me look him up again. This is another character I'm not hugely familiar with. I can cut this down. Let's see.
We pulled up, the first person we pulled up was the wizard.
Malice. It's Carlin Malice. There we go, yeah. Oh no,
he looks
it's
like Spock.
Carl Malice, Carnage. Carl Malice, Dr. Malice, Carnage. So in the comics he was fairly similar. He, researched, superpowers and ways of, testing. He tested people, and studied people with superhuman powers. And he was kind of a crime doctor, sketchy.
Like the mob would send him people to experiment on.
Yeah. So yeah. And he developed. Or he was connected to the symbiote, the Carnage symbiote, obviously. So yeah, another cool comic book character. I feel like there were a bunch more this season that I missed, because they're kind of going into the people I'm less familiar with, which is cool, because I can always learn more stuff, and the Marvel Universe is a giant place, and there are many things I just don't know much about. But yeah, so he was another character that, in a long series of characters this season, who was set up as a villain, who ended up being more complicated than that. And I was interested in his relationship with Elisa, in that kind of talking about his respect for her power. Where people, he was afraid of her, everyone was afraid of her, but he also didn't let that get in the way of seeing her as a human being and of respecting her for that power and not just fearing her for it. And, being in awe of it.
Yeah. I almost feel like he was justified too much. Like,
You want him to be more evil. Yeah, I can see that.
Not even more evil, but, clearly he was doing experiments on subjects who could not consent.
Oh, yeah.
And, incredibly painful thing. So I see what you're saying. They made him a little too. He was forgiven a little too much. By the narrative. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm interested in Elisa's. I guess also not just with him, but with Elisa's strength as a character. I really liked her character. She was a really good. She reminded me of my mom, actually. She was a really good kind of older woman, which we don't get enough of in media. A really good, interesting feminist character. She complained about microaggressions. Where she got, she had that moment where she was, her husband didn't want her to drive the car even though she was a better driver. What the hell? Those kinds of real life things that annoy me, and I'm assuming you too.
Nah. Yes, I do.
Yeah. So I really like that. She felt very real. And then added to that, this idea that she's extremely physically powerful, that, literally she is a powerful woman, who the world fears, and with good reason. But I do also think there's an allegory there. Yeah. That, this older, self-assured powerful woman
Yeah.
who is labeled as monstrous. That's a thing.
That is very much a thing.
And so I really liked this exploration of her character and how she is characterized and humanized, and her power is not diminished. She's still very dangerous, and she's still very complicated, but she is still... I found her extremely compelling.
I'm also thinking about something that's kind of interesting to me and this was a very minor character, but I think that the one person who saw, like, besides maybe Jessica, but I think in a larger sense, I think the one person who kind of was able to see through that was a black woman.
Oh, that's interesting.
Was his... Yeah, I mean, I just thought of that, so it's not I haven't dissected that thought more.
And
but
another mother and another woman in a male-dominated field.
yes.
Yeah. That's really... It hadn't occurred to me, but that's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was definitely intentional.
Yeah. Yeah. That, I feel so bad for that poor guard. Like,
Oh,
she was so nice.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I think... I think it's going to take a while for me to put together my thoughts on Elisa, but I really found her interesting.
Yeah.
Again, I think she was a highlight of the season for me. And I was really interested in her relationship with Carl. As...
Which seemed to be genuine.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wonder, like, I mean, how much of it... I mean, clearly she had
there is sketchiness involved,
a
certainly.
choice. Like, I mean, she really doesn't have anyone else.
Yeah.
So, like, there's... To me, that's, like, really sketchy. And
he is her Trish. He's the new family she's found because she had no one else. And who she now clings to.
yeah.
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 And, and we do have that, I mean, that reminds me of the fact that one of the major breaks, after Jessica and Elisa have bonded, one of the major breaks is when Elisa tries to kill Trish. Tries to strangle her with Jessica's arm. Like,
Yeah.
But, that's kind of you tried to kill my sister, I'm no longer willing to put up with you. That just reminds me of that. The idea of that, this all-encompassing relationship with a found family member.
Yeah.
And, I mean, obviously, Jessica was adopted by Trish's mom, so they're literally sisters. It's not like she sought her out, but it's still...
Like, adopted family...
A secondary family.
Like, adopted family is still family.
Yeah, but it's still a second family after having lost... assuming that she has lost her original one forever. But yes, I think those are all of my thoughts.
Yeah.
But
I think
can
so,
just
too.
reiterate that I really, really like Lisa. She
I
was
mean,
good.
I'm sure we'll have other thoughts down the road.
We always have other... Yeah. This is just...
This is our one
whatever
time a
we
year that we
of at the
think, and
moment.
then after that we just shut off.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay,
Yeah, this is true.
farewell. No, but we'll have other thoughts, and we'll have other posts, and
Well,
as always, please
We're
send...
not done yet.
We're not done.
We're not done yet. Wait. Let's talk quickly about Oscar and Vito.
Oh,
Oscar-
Vito's an idiot, and I don't
Oscar
like
and his
him.
cool-ass son, Vito.
He's not that cool.
No, he's not. He was... Yeah, I mean, I liked him, but he was a little too cute and a little too much of a caricature, and he was an idiot. Yeah.
Listen, okay, I've met quite a few 10-year-olds in my day.
In fact, you were a 10-year-old at one point.
I was a
in your
10-year-old at one
existence.
point. Yes, I was. I mean, I was...
Were you? Were you not?
You don't know that.
I don't. This is true.
But, it's not a 10-year-old thing to do, to jump
Yeah.
up. That's...
I mean, I think... Because that's a dark... I mean, he does have a difficult... his life does have emotional turmoil in it. So you
Not
almost have to
that
look at
much.
that as saying... Maybe he's okay with that risk, but that's really dark. I feel like they weren't going that dark. With
He's
that.
not.
Yeah.
He's... that kid doesn't present to me as
No.
not well adjusted. Like,
No.
I mean, plenty of kids go through divorces.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Yeah, and there were a million other ways Jessica could have saved him that would have felt more natural.
Than him, yeah. I mean,
doing
that he's a smart enough kid to know not to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. But
So that really annoyed
Yeah.
me. I'm sorry.
I did like his role as the resident superhero enthusiast in this season.
Oh, me too,
That
me
dealt
too.
so much with Jessica. Are you a vigilante superhero? that dealt with that theme with Jessica of her, figuring out who she is, and kind of the contrast with all the people assuming she kills people on a regular basis.
And I also like that he was kind of a way to tie it into the MCU in general by having him with the Cap toy.
Oh, yeah, that
and,
was
do you know
great.
Captain America? And that's just like a very quiet way to tie this into the rest of the
Which is
universe.
always really nice. I mean, we loved that in season 1 too, with the couple who tried to kill her because of the Avengers. What the Avengers did.
Was it the Avengers and then it was the Inhumans?
Well, it was. I mean, that was specifically because of the incident, which was the Avengers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it was because her mom was crushed by falling debris.
Okay.
Yeah, remember?
Yeah, I do.
But yeah, I think in general, it's nice. I think the other major reference was the raft,
Yeah.
which it definitely showed up in Civil War. I mean, that's a thing in the comics also, but in the MCU, that's where they were stuck in Civil War. I'm almost positive. So that was we always appreciate that, particularly since the show generally separates itself. I mean, all the Netflix shows, but particularly this one.
Yeah, I liked the subtleness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The subtleness is subtlety. Which one's that? I don't know.
yes. And how did you feel about David Mack? Oscar.
I really liked his art.
He had some really great David Mack prints on his wall.
He did.
Yeah, he went to all the cons.
He did.
He got a lot of commissions.
David Mack's kind of afraid of him now.
Yeah, but that's how it is with the fans. There's some creepy fans out there. You just got to give them all
Remember
the
when
art.
Paulo Rivera recognized us?
Yes.
We're famous. He loves us now.
Oh yeah.
Do you think he thought we were following him?
I think he did.
Paulo Rivera, if you're listening to this, we were not following you. He was really nice
He
to
really
us,
liked
though.
your art though. Yeah, and you're a cool dude. He was really nice. I like him.
You know who's the nicest? Oh my god, I love him so much.
Chris Samney.
What?
Chris Samney.
I do love Chris Samney.
Oh, who were you
But
gonna say?
Sanford Green.
Oh, he was so nice. Yeah, buy Bitterroot by Sanford Green and David F. Walker coming out June.
Yeah. But oh my god,
But he's so nice. Also buy Power Man Iron Fist Volume 3,
and it's so good.
which is also really good.
But Sanford Green, if you're listening to this, you're like
You're
the
great.
nicest dude.
You're a cool dude. Thank you for being you. All right. Anyway, enough of that creepiness. But yeah, what did you think about Oscar? Besides his,
I
his,
really
his
liked
cool art.
his David Mack collection.
Yeah.
I really liked him. I liked that he was a nice guy. Like
Yeah.
he was a genuinely nice guy, and
Yeah,
again,
another one. Yeah, there
Yeah.
were some actual genuine
who was
people.
also morally gray.
Yeah. I thought he was a little too perfect,
Yeah,
but it didn't bother me that much. I liked him.
And I think one of the strongest things about it is, as you said, when they start to kiss on the couch, and then Jessica starts to unbuckle his belt, and he's like, no, that's not normal. So I thought that was really
That
a
was really
strength.
good. That was really
and
good,
his, I think that, that he does everything for his son. What he does might be sketchy and illegal, but he's willing to do it because...
Yeah, he's another one of the big supporters of the family theme, and we have a father and son, which is a nice...
And it's nice to see a single
Diversification,
dad as well.
Yeah, that too, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I didn't mind him. That he was I mean, Jessica also dated Luke, so it's not like she only dates bad people, but he was a good
I mean,
counterpoint for
she was
Jessica
also
in
in
this
a place when she was dating Luke.
Yeah, this was
that
a
it
much
was-
healthier relationship.
Absolutely,
overall,
yeah.
Much healthier.
Yeah. I mean, her relationship with Luke was not exactly started in a healthy place in the comics at all.
Oh no, or in the show. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I have much else to say
Yeah, I
about,
think
about
that's-
Oscar. He was yeah.
Do we have any final thoughts?
Well, let's talk about the minor characters that we like, because we promised to talk about that. So we had.
Did we?
We did.
How dare you?
I said, yeah. Let's talk about. So we had some really cool. I love all the little recurring minor characters. We had Turk, obviously. Tembi Wallace, the reporter.
Yep.
We had. Oh, I actually don't. He wasn't a major. I don't specifically remember him from season 1, but I liked the cop who was in the room when Kilgrave came to the precinct. Who talked to Jessica.
I really
about that.
liked him.
I loved that, and their relationship, that he keeps trusting her because of this, and she keeps kind of failing him.
Yeah.
Which was obviously hard to watch, but I liked that.
Yep.
And Maury, the foodie morgue, the poor foodie morgue guy.
I love him.
Who just wants to sit there and deal with his dead bodies and read his food magazine.
And go and
Never
have
heard.
some fine dining. Do you think he's a cannibal?
No. No.
What if he is?
Season 3. Maury is actually a cannibal.
That's.
But yeah.
1 + 1 = fun!
Yeah. But yeah, I love it. Okay.
Sorry, we're losing it. We've been, more and more losing it with every one of these we do. So.
There was not Sesame Street this time, though. Yet. But yeah, I love that they just, and they're just kind of random characters too, but they just take these kind of random minor characters and bring them back. I love that consistency.
Yeah.
And that, the continuity of that. And they're all such fun little characters.
Yeah. I love Maury.
I love Maury. Yeah, I mean, who would have thought? But he's great. Yeah, so I like that. That was another highlight of the season for me, seeing the consistency. I think if there's anything else, we have actually talked for quite a while.
Yes.
I mean, again, yeah, as we said, this is just our initial word vomit, and we'll be posting more about this season. We have a ton of questions in our inbox. I mean, we love getting questions. Thank you guys. We would get them out faster, but we are only human, so it will take us as long as it takes us, and we thank you for your patience. And please keep asking us things. I'm considering possibly, if we get too much of an overload, possibly shutting down for a little while just to catch up.
I think that it's definitely possible.
But we will,
I'm behind that idea just so we can
just to catch up.
Catch up with
not
all
get
you guys' questions. If we do that, we will make a post about it and let you know.
Yeah, we'll discuss it.
It is absolutely not anything against answering questions.
No,
it's just out of respect for the backlog.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll discuss that. In any case, we will definitely talk more about this season. We definitely haven't remembered everything.
No.
So yeah, overall thoughts. Not one of the stronger seasons, but we still enjoyed it.
A lot to take out of it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
A lot of good character development.
Yeah, definitely a solid season.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I kind of miss the psychological horror, which I can't believe I'm saying.
Wow.
Because I'm the biggest wimp in the world, and Kilgrave just makes my skin crawl.
We really want purple children. We wanted
purple children really bad.
We also really wanted Typhoid Mary.
We did really want Typhoid Mary.
I mean, we ended up loving. Again, I loved Elisa, but this would be a really great place to introduce her, and we think the Jessica Jones team could do some really interesting stuff with her.
Yep.
But that was just kind of a rumor all along, so I was never,
I think it was because of her hair.
Yeah.
She has very big, long, wavy hair, which is similar to Typhoid Mary.
Yeah. But if Melissa Rosenberg is listening to our thoughts,
Melissa,
listen, pal.
Listen.
We got some great ideas for season 3. So, what do we have in the future?
Luke Cage.
Yeah. So, they're wasting no freaking time with Luke Cage season 2. Holy moly! We have a date announcement and we have set photos.
Confirming.
Confirming
that Danny's gonna be in it.
We've done that for months.
I'm a bad
Wake up!
person.
Come out of your
know.
cave. Smell the Heroes for Hire.
And I'm doing
coffee.
just fine, because I want it all.
Yeah, so as soon as Jessica Jones was released, they also released a date announcement for Luke Cage season 2,
Yay.
which why the heck didn't they just stick that on the end of Jessica Jones?
Maybe they were thinking of it, but maybe it was edited too late.
Maybe, but
that's stupid.
That would have been so good, though.
Yeah, I agree.
They've done it before. I want
do-
that to be a regular. You mentioned that it should be a regular thing.
It should be a regular
That would be
thing,
so
or
cool.
post-credit scenes.
Yeah, or that.
I love
Yeah,
post-
I would be up for post-credit scenes too. But I feel like after 13 hours, if you have extra material.
No, but I'm not talking
you
about
do-
post-credit scenes from other.
For the new. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can go for that.
But
anyway,
also, I don't think everyone watches it in 13 hours.
of course they do.
Probably, yes. Okay.
But yeah, so Luke Cage season 2, which I'm freaking excited about. I mean, I was
Yay.
excited about this show, but I'm really excited about Luke Cage season 2.
And then Dee Dee.
So Luke Cage season 2, I called it. I called it being 3 months between shows after Jessica Jones season 2. 3 months, man. They're cranking these things out. So Luke Cage season 2, June 22nd. Mark your calendar.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna go down.
Okay.
And go down, I mean Bushmaster and Nightshade and possibly Heroes for Hire and Misty's Bionic Arm and oh god, I'm so excited about this.
That's really
I'm so
good.
excited about this.
I love Luke.
And Luke,
I'm always
obviously,
excited to see Luke.
Obviously, yeah.
He's such a good dude.
Yeah. I love, and the teaser is so good. I love the teaser.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a great teaser.
paid.
Anyway, get paid. Please.
Please, Luke, get paid.
Please, make some money. So yeah, and Daredevil and Iron Fist and The Punisher are all filming right now. The Punisher started filming.
We should go
Which
to New
seems
York.
crazy that Punisher season 2 is filming already. Yeah, I need to be there.
Okay, I'll try.
Haunt it's really tough, but it's really exciting either way. So all 3 of those shows are filming right now. Let's see, what else? Is there anything else? No Defender season 2 announcement yet. I'm really curious about whether that will happen. I still feel like
not.
it would be weird if it didn't, but we shall see.
Yep.
In any case, I'm super excited for particularly. I mean, I'm super excited that we're going to get Iron Fist this year.
Yeah.
That was why I was hoping for the 3-month intervals.
Yeah.
Not wait too long. But yeah, so awesome stuff. And
The Black Panthers movie is good, right?
Black Panther movie is good. Yes.
I'm gonna go
It's
see
very
that.
good. Yeah, go see that. And
That's about it, I think.
That's Infinity War. The end has come. Infinity Wars movie. May?
I don't know.
May. No, April. No. They changed it. It's April 27th.
What about Robert Downey Jr.?
So this was clearly staged, but they announced the date, and then a week or so ago, Robert Downey Jr. on Twitter went, "Hey, can't you give it to us sooner?" And they were like, "Sure, Robert. April 27th.
Gee whiz!
And it was obviously staged, but it was also awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. So yeah, April 27th, it's going down.
Okay.
But yeah, so exciting stuff in the future of Marvel stuff, and also obviously awesome comic stuff every month. Defenders ended, which I'm okay with because it was kind of a so-so series. Luke Cage ended this month. Jessica Jones, Step in the Air. Iron Fist was canceled, which I'm devastated about because I love that series. Daredevil's still going strong. Yeah. All right. So we hope
You
you've
could
enjoyed
tolerate our tangents,
this. Yeah. All right.
and we'll end it with that.
Thank you for listening. We'll see you on June 23rd.
Yeah.
We'll probably record the thing June 24th to 25th.
Yes.
But in any case, we will see you in June with
Yay! Luke!
Luke. Goodbye.